Welcome back. This is Out of Market Baseball. It is an emergency podcast. This we have breaking news. It's all over the Twitterverse. Rafi Devers is no longer a Boston Red Sox. He is coming over to the NL West to bolster the Giants' offense to take a run towards the defending World Series champs and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Cory and I just happened to be at the beach, and Cory, I feel for you. What's going on?
I don't even know. No, first of all, it's funny that we live an hour and a half away, but we drove 7 hours to see each other.
Right?
These are the things that I know are true. I'm on vacation at the beach. Those are good. It's Father's Day. Also good. Craig Breslow, you are a weak son of a gun. I don't know if it's just you. I'm going through all the stages. I may have already been one glass in before the news broke and like 3 glasses in after the news broke. But the only thing I've seen so far that has come out from the Red Sox organization is that they didn't like the fact that Devers was getting paid $313 million and that he was unwilling to be a team player. I'm sorry. He was your third baseman for 9 years. I think he might be the only person that's left from the last World Series team. I could be wrong, but I don't know who else is longer tenured. I don't think anybody.
Nobody. And he's definitely, having an MVP type offensive performance, season. And, there have been, rumors and stories about him. You signed Bregman to play third base, so he takes over. And then, Costas goes down. They're like, hey, can you go play first? And then he's like, no, that's not that's not my position. And they're like, well, we're paying you all this money.
And I'm not here to say that Devers was perfect in the way he handled it, but you kind of sign a third baseman without Devers signing off on like the fact that he's not going to move off position.
Yeah.
That you told him he had when you signed him to $300 million. So don't throw it in his face like that's a problem. Now you signed him that to be your third baseman, and then you built a horrible roster. And then you asked him to go be a DH. You literally said to put your glove up. And what did he do? He accepted the
DH role.
And he's got like the 9th best OPS in baseball. So if he's designated to hit, he's hit the crap out of the ball.
He's done what he's been asked to do.
Right. He did. And Costas get hurt. It sucks. It's fine. But look, if you were asked to go learn something new in front of 30,000 people every night, would you think
I'm not Scott Hatteberg.
No. I said, I get nervous if somebody stands behind me when I'm typing, and that's one person.
Yeah.
At worst, you could have just gotten out there and said, we're going to if he's okay with it, which he doesn't have to. He can be DH for the next 8.5 years, whatever he signed to. Look, that's how it is. You asked him to move, he did his move, right? He didn't have to, but even if he wasn't be a first baseman, you at least give him an off season to get decent at it and not learn on the fly, which half of this team is learning on the fly. You got Christian Campbell at second base, and you got all the other outfielders going. But I want to see Breslow answer to the media. I'm sure it won't suffice, but another thing, you swept the Yankees.
I know.
To get a share of the last wild card position.
Yeah, like you're
this
making
is a win.
Yeah.
And while you might get something back, I'm not going to sit here and argue that this is bad offense. At least with Mookie, you've already kind of got to the point where you said, look, we're not going to be able to sign him long term. That's fine. You traded him. You got pieces. The pieces didn't really work out, but that's how that works.
Well,
but you had Devers signed for, and if you compare his deal to what some of the other guys are getting right now,
compared to how he's hitting, it's a steal.
Right. Compare him to Vladimir Guerrero, who is maybe a little bit better all around hitter, but similar. You just saved like $150 million compared to that contract. So
and we know the Red Sox are getting Jordan Hicks. They're getting another pitcher, can't recall the name right now, and then they're getting Tibbs, which was a first-round draft pick last year.
And another guy with the last name Bello, who's ironic because Bayo, that's how Brian
That's right.
That's his name, threw 7 innings of shutout baseball today to help sweep the Yankees.
Yeah,
but
and Tibbs, he was a first-round draft pick. He was number 4 in the Giants organization. He was not in top 100 prospects in baseball. but he was slashing 274 with over, I think it was like 876 OPS in high A. So he hasn't, come up the ranks just yet, but maybe that's something that they're looking at.
I think Kyle Harris is the other. Harrison
Yeah,
is the other.
yeah, Harrison. That's right. That's
and
Harrison.
My thing is like, I don't know. Maybe it works out in the end. I don't. The optics are horrible.
It's very, very bad optics.
You're barely 5 years after the Mookie Betts trade. You've been horrible. I mean, you collapsed last year. You've been horrible almost every season. Haven't been really great this year, but the offense has been good. Bregman is still not healthy, so you don't have a third baseman. Like, at some point, you probably think the front office was probably rooting for us to get our butt handed to us by the Yankees to make it easier.
It almost seems like they had this in plan since, the middle of May when things were not going right. There were some skids there.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, you might have sold it even. It doesn't matter.
But, like, we're 45 days at least from the trade deadline. There's a lot of baseball still to be played. And it just seems, even from an outsider's perspective,
You're not even close to the deadline. You're in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, and we're definitely not the only ones, dumbfounded by this move.
No,
there's front offices all over Major League Baseball right now going, how did the Giants pull this off? Is really what everybody's asking, because that's the big question.
And all the people who ask Red Sox players lead them, none of them said Devers was unhappy. He goes out there and smile, he's fine. So it's on the front office being unable to figure this out. And honestly, that's part of your thing is to manage personalities and build the roster.
That's right.
You didn't do a good job. But it's not Devers' fault, and nobody should do it. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going through a lot of emotions, obviously, but currently, as long as Breslow is with the team, I don't know if I can root for the Red Sox. I'm just going to have to go on hiatus forever how long. I kind of hope they miss the playoffs and that dude gets fired, because this is bad. And even leading up to this, he's already coming under, criticism. And the dude doesn't do interviews, doesn't show his face, doesn't even when the Roman Anthony 4-year call up, he wouldn't even go to minor league games and see him. He just seemed like he just did not do the public side of being a GM, which you have to do. It's not just, it's part of the job. You have to go out there and explain these things. You
got to be able to answer for some of your decisions.
Right.
I mean, you're
even
the guy.
If they suck.
Yeah.
Look, if your coach goes out there, if Lovella comes out there and he makes a big, poop, he should own up to it. I expect answers. I expect answers, and we've talked about that, time and time again about, hey, I'm proud of the guys, the way they played, and proud of this, and eventually he came out and said, hey, we got to play better. Right.
I'm not saying air out the dirty laundry, but at least, let's give the fans at least some insight as to why the decision was made. And the optics here just seem like, hey, we don't like your attitude, and so we're going to ship you off. And as a Diamondback fan, this feels like Trevor Bauer all over again. It was like, okay, you have this great prospect. He's coming in. He's doing what he needs to do, but he doesn't want to use your throwing program, your throwing routine, so you just ship him off for little to nothing. And, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks is having an exceptional year. But let's go back and look at the past 2 or 3. He struggled,
right.
And again, this is like Shelby Miller for Dansby Swanson. It's just like one of these trades. It's like, I don't. How is this happening?
To me, it's 2 pieces. It's one, it's the return and what happens after.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it works out. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Prospects are a wild card, and whether they spend their money next year because they just cleared a bunch of. I mean, okay, you didn't have to pay anything to get rid of Devers, which is stupid to say in itself. But yeah, the optics behind it. I mean, you're talking this would be Braves trading Acuna, Diamondbacks trading Carroll. This would be like trading Judge 1.5 years after he's been in there because you had a down year and you didn't like the fact that he didn't want to play whatever position. It's just you've got one of the best hitters signed to, like I said, a mostly team-friendly deal, and you could work out maybe a defensive replacement, but you just can't do that. Coming off it, you've taken literally 5 of 6 from the Yankees to get yourself in a playoff. This team deserves better.
And the pitching staff was electric.
Yeah, the pitching staff did their part. I mean, Devers has been the only, outside of, the first 4 games of the season, he's been the only consistent hitter out there.
Absolutely.
On the team. Bregman was outstanding, but even when he went down, Devers was good. Even when Abreu has been crappy, Devers was good. And also, other than when they just asked him up front about these things, he didn't go out there and start trouble.
No.
He just went out there and did literally what you asked him to agree to be a designated hitter, and he was the best hitter, one of the 10 best hitters in baseball.
There shouldn't be anything wrong with air and frustration and saying, well, that's not what I signed up for.
Right.
But
And he
then
didn't attack anybody. He just
no,
said,
he's just
no, I'm
like,
not
hey,
going to do it.
it's no different in my opinion. Somebody saying, hey, we're going to trade you to the Royals. We want you to waive your no trade clause and be like, I really don't want to go there. Like, it's you have contracts in place for a reason. So,
Look, short of Logan Webb being in that,
yeah,
there's nothing that was going to make me excited. I mean, Kyle Harrison is young. He's good. Like, this is the second part of it. It could work out. But like I said, you got to go into next offseason. You better spin the freaking buttload because we've already done this 2 years ago when you act like you were going to spin and you didn't. And then this year you did spin. You signed Bregman. Great. You signed Crochet. Awesome. You better be signing Bregman up for a couple extra years and guaranteeing the rest of that contract. Like, you got pieces. Like, if you've got money and you don't spend it at this point, like, there's nothing besides it that just says you were basically a little word that I'm not going to say about being upset with Devers because basically, like I said, you built a bad team. And then when it blew up in your face, like, it is unfortunate Costas got hurt. Nobody can plan for that. But you don't even have, like, somebody semblance that can play first base. And then you're going to just say, oh, well, Devers didn't want to play 5 positions. Like, go figure.
And to be fair, like playing first is not like going out and playing,
No.
and not to take away
It's
from
not
right field, but we've seen Gold Glove first basemen make huge differences
Oh, yeah.
in games defensively. Especially, I mean, not every throw is perfect. Not every ball can be fielded when holding somebody on. It's a hard position to play. And not to quote Moneyball again, but I mean, you had Washington out there trying to teach Scott Hatteberg, who couldn't even throw a baseball, how to play first base, and it's extremely difficult.
Right. If you've
Extremely
ever got
difficult.
to a close game and your first baseman can't pick the ball at the end of the game, you know that it is not just as simple as just saying, oh, well, anybody can stand there. If you got stone hands,
Yeah.
you're getting nowhere. But on a personal note, once Devers was signed long term, I was like, this is my guy. I mean, I already loved Devers, but he was signed long term. And after not signing Bogart, not signing Mookie, he traded Chris Stella, which, look, I can give that one a little, like, he hadn't been healthy. Like, nobody knew he was going to turn into a Cy Young guy and be healthy. But, like, you hadn't signed any of your young guys to a long-term contract when you had the chance before, they become mega contracts. You did it with Devers. I went out there. I've been buying, like, PSA 10, like, rookie cards, chromes. I've got the blue. I've got the
Starting the rainbow collection.
The whole, like, I was trying to buy, like, for every home run he hit, I wanted to own, like, a rookie card. I thought that was just going to be something fun because he signed for 8 more years. That's the rest of his career. I was like, this dude's going to be in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. And literally some GM just comes in who's been here for, 6 months, a year, and he's
just name on paper.
It up. And to be honest, the only reason the team's good is because, what's his face? I can't remember the guy who was the GM before that they let go, built an outstanding farm system and then made it where you could, have cheap young guys if you could go out there and spend some money. So, I can't. Currently, I just want to hate Breslow because with all the information given, that looks like the most obvious thing. Maybe more comes out and I'll walk it back, but right now it's just like that guy just seems like he didn't do a great job, and it's just so reactionary. Again, you have a chance to be in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, there's still plenty of baseball to play.
And yes, and you can always come back to him and say, look, I'm sorry I did it that way. Would you think about over the offseason, maybe like you had time, would you do that?
Yeah.
Maybe you can come to terms, but it just kind of seems like he just didn't want to give anything, and now he just wants to blame Devers because he's making all the money. Well, I know Breslow didn't sign into the contract, but look, the money's not the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already signed him. That, you know what sunk cost is, right? We've all done some betting here. We all know what sunk cost fallacy here is. You already owe him that much money, and like I said, he's just been one of the best hitters, and he's been the heartbeat of this team for years, and it's already made, like, it's just, I feel like I'm just circling around. Every time I get to one point, I'm like, you already did this, and then they should have done that, and then so it's like, I could just, this is what's going through my mind right now. But anyway, that was just, I say, quick reaction. We just wanted to have an emergency pod because obviously that is my boy. It's Father's Day. It feels like one of my children has been put up for adoption. Like, I love Rafa. He's one of the few that gets out there and he smiles every play, and he lives it, he breathes it. Even if he messes it up, you see it, like, it matters to him. He's just not out there just being goofy, and he's just a joy to watch. And like I said, when he's playing at a high level like this, and the way the team's going, this is just horrible looking.
Well,
Who? And I know we're ending, but like as a free agent, why would you want to sign with the team like this?
after that
All of a
happens,
sudden, would
yeah.
you want to sign us whatever position, and all of a sudden, if you don't decide to play 3 other positions, oh well, you're trash because
Yeah.
you don't want to be a team
Yeah,
player. You want to be a team player.
there's some damage control that's going to happen, and a little sneak peek series to watch this week:
Oh baby,
Boston at San Francisco.
Jesus Almighty! I hope he hits 100 home runs. I don't know how that's going to happen. I hope he destroys. I mean, look, at least for this year, like I said, and at least with Breslow being there, I'm not particularly really rooting for the Red Sox. I'm maybe actively rooting against them, and I hope the pitching is so good and the offense just sucks because they don't have that one anyway.
Well, and I'm gonna plug one more thing, but you also, this is obviously a business, and they come out with probably one of the cleanest city connects.
Yeah.
Of all. I mean, it's even against the Diamondbacks. It is a very, very clean, clean city connect, and how many Devers jerseys were bought over the past month that
Fanatics
are
got to be squirm. Is it Fanatics?
It's Fanatics and MLB that have a return policy for a player being traded that I think it's within 45 days, and so I don't think there's been any official team announcement. Which is when I think
I checked their Twitter because I wanted to see people ripping them a new one. They
haven't posted anything, but that's the official announcement is when that kicks in for MLB and Fanatics. So if you do have a Devers jersey that you've bought in the past 45 days, you're in luck. Maybe you can go get you a Briggs, even though he's 1 year, or you can go get you a Crochet jersey. Figure something out because it is such a good City Connect jersey. But little emergency for the boys. Cory, I'm sorry. I was worried about you there for a little bit.
Just to set this up, I know this is like, if anybody's still listening, it's stupid, but I was getting in the shower. We spent the whole day at the beach. I'm like, I just want to get showered to come out. I get out of the shower. Sitting over here, says to me, "You good, man?" I thought I was like, "Yeah, I'm good, man." I thought he was just checking on me because we're buddies or whatever. And I said, "Yeah, how's it going? How's your dinner going?" He's like, "It's good." He goes, "Don't check Twitter." I said, "What?"
Yeah,
of course I'm going to check. I literally, and then we both got in trouble because we both reacted in a way that
our wives thought somebody had died.
Like if my mom would have died, or like I don't know, somebody close to me would have died, that's probably how I reacted. My wife goes like, "What? What's wrong? What's wrong?" I said, "Devers." Like, still, I'm wrapping my brain around it, but like in the moment, it was, I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it. It is that punch. It's gonna be a rough end of the season here. I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm probably gonna root for the Giants. I'm sorry, I know that goes against you, but
hey, they're not the Dodgers. They're not the Dodgers.
Right, we're just gonna have to go for it. Man, I know this is a whole nother division. Chiefs,
golly, strongest. It is without a doubt the strongest division in baseball. It's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be a fun playoff push. Even if the Diamondbacks are outside, it's definitely going to be strong with the Padres, Giants, and the Dodgers. So this is obviously the Dodgers got better. Chapman's been getting hurt, and they're looking to solidify some defense at third, and also obviously bringing in one heck of a bat. But
I think that somebody's. I don't even remember the guy's name. I think it's like HJELLE. It's like maybe who they're starting DH is.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then somebody said the fact that you had to look that up.
Exactly.
Again, I will root for the player because that's just in my nature. I'm also kind of like screw corporate at the end of the day. But it's just like screw the teams. Like I know they got to do what they got to do, but I'm gonna do it. I'll probably still, I might still play for Chris. He won't be wearing that. I mean, he'll still be wearing that Red Sox jersey no matter what. Other than that, I don't know what to say without it being full of expletives and holding back. I think I didn't say any bad words.
No, I think we're good. Look, this is raw emotion. We're obviously, fans of short fanatics for a reason, and we could have waited till Tuesday, but this is why we put our homer hats on, and this is what drives us. It's why we follow our teams, why we love them, is why we hate them. So just give you a little insight. Obviously, Cory's the one in pain tonight. I feel for you, big time. Right. If it was Cattell or Corbin, it'd be the complete opposite, But
I'm gonna go. I've already drank too much, but I'm gonna go read my book and escape, and I'll be okay. Hey, I'll live in another world.
There we go. Well, look, this has been Out Market Baseball. It's Clinton. You got Corey. We'll catch y'all next time.
Bye.